All right, you guys, we are back. We are live. Welcome back to our weekly live feed as you are logging on. If you'd like to come to work with me, you can still go to suitsandposing.com. I haven't said that in a while. Suitsandposing.com. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. All the fun stuff when it comes to competing. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for you guys to get logged on here. When you do get logged on, say hello. We are live on Instagram and Facebook. If you're logging on Instagram, I recommend you go over to and YouTube. If you're logging on Instagram, I recommend you go over to YouTube because it's better. We have screen shares over there. All you're going to see on Instagram is my face. So if you're getting on YouTube or anywhere, say where you're coming in from. Say hello. What's up? What's up? Welcome. And while we're waiting for everybody to get logged on, I'm going to shout out our channel sponsors. First, we're going to shout out to Prozis. Prozis is our channel sponsor for all of your sports nutrition needs. Get all your vitamins, your supplements, your protein powder, your fun foods, your activewear, everything you could possibly need is there. And use our code Cuties10 for additional savings. You can scan on that QR code, or if you come back to this video after it's reposted, the link is in my description box as well here on YouTube, so you can go back to it anytime you want to. So give them a look-see, because I use all of their supplements in my daily life. And then also shout out to Liquid Sun Rayz, our channel sponsor as well. Cuties15 is our code for them. Anything that you need for your competition spray tanning, whether it may be actually getting sprayed at the show, or you might need your skin prep or whatever it may be, Liquid Sun Rayz is the place to go right there. Again, same thing. Scan the QR code, or you can go into the description box. I have my link there as well with the code Cuties15. They have DIY kits. They're getting brand new stuff in for their DIY stuff too, so you got to check that out. For those of you that followed my whole journey to Hawaii and Japan, they are now going to be selling airbrush guns and all that kind of stuff too. So give them a follow as well and check them out. What's up? Yeah, as you guys are getting on here, just say hi. Say where you're from. We always give it a few minutes. We give it about 3 minutes or so for everybody to get logged on and get settled in, so that you guys get the notifications and all of the fun things. We don't have a show to wrap up this week because there was no Bikini Pro shows this past weekend. There was just USA's, local shows, obviously, too. But we do have a show to preview, and that is Tampa. We have Tampa Pro to preview. So we're going to preview Bikini and Wellness. We're going to do both because both lineups are pretty killer. For those of you that don't know, they used to have tier systems when it came to the pro shows, right? So what that meant was if you had a tier 1 show, you got more points towards your Olympia qualification, all of those kinds of things. So from New York, what's up from New York? So yeah, if you're here on Instagram, I know we got a few of you over here. I'm also live on YouTube, and we're going to be doing screen sharing pictures and things like that over there too, so go check that out. To get to YouTube, you can go onto my bio on Instagram. My YouTube's linked there. So Tampa used to be a tier 1 show. Now, the way that this used to be set up, this is all before the pandemic and everything too, is Tampa was the last show to qualify before the cutoff for the Olympia that year. Now, this has changed because the Olympia is no longer in September. It's in October. It's moved all over the place. Again, since the pandemic, they've moved locations, dates, all those kinds of things. So it's different now. But this used to be the tradition. So, Tampa was really like the main indicator. People that won Tampa, you were looking out for going into the Olympia. So the last few years, the Tampa Pro has been pretty decent, but it's kind of been hit or miss because it's not been the last qualifying show. They got rid of the tier system. They got rid of the point system. So, while Tampa is one of these big shows like a New York or Pittsburgh, those kinds of things, it no longer had the same kind of implications, right? So some years, and since the pandemic, it's been very, very competitive, and some years it's not. A good example was last year. Ashlyn won it last year. And then that was really where Ariana Brothers came out. Everybody was like, who's this girl? Because she ended up in second. That was the first time that Ariana had, I think it was her pro debut, if I'm not mistaken. I'd never seen her before, but I knew it as soon as she walked on stage. I was like, who's this chick? Like, she's gonna be good, right? And again, she came out and placed second. She was a little bit soft. If she'd been a little bit tighter, she probably could have been considered for first place of this particular show, but she was a little soft going into the show. Then she ended up going into her next show, which was Nashville Fit Show, which I was also there, and she won that one, qualified for the Olympia, then ended up in top 10 at the Olympia. So she really got noticed, though, at Tampa. That's where she got noticed. And that happens a lot. So this happened with Daraja. She came in, and what was the year that she beat? She beat Issa, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. But again, if you get noticed at Tampa, then you have a really good shot going into the Olympia. So it's a big show. They've got every division there. And they got masters for every division as well. I'm not going this year. We are doing a little mini vacation, my husband and I, for the first time in a couple of years. We haven't done this in a while. But I decided not to go because I don't have anybody doing it. So I just was like, that's silly to go to Tampa if I don't have any competitors doing it. So this is the first year probably, since, I don't know, 2018 or something like that I haven't gone. It's going to be weird. But anyway, we're going to preview the show because it looks like this is going to be another show where it's going to have some big implications going into it, right? So Tampa was her second show. Okay. Yeah, Daraja came into second. But she beat Jennifer and Laura Lee, right? That was the year I think she beat Jennifer and Laura Lee, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, but you're right, it put her on the map. That was the year that put her on the map. Let's see. So let me pull up our lists because these lists are deep, you guys. Both bikini and wellness are deep at this show. Do you guys want to do bikini first or do you want to do wellness first? Type into the comments. Tell me, do you want to do bikini or do you want to do wellness? We haven't done wellness in a while, but I figured since we didn't have a show to actually wrap up this week, that we could do wellness this week too. We typically don't, just because there's just too much to do, and we'd be on here for like 3 hours. So. So I'm seeing some comments in on Instagram. So the comments come in faster on Instagram than they do on YouTube. YouTube is a little bit delayed. You see bikini. I'll give you guys a minute to log in and log your vote. Okay, we got a lot of bikini votes coming in. All right, so we'll do bikini first, and then we'll go into wellness. So we do have. One of the things that I thought was pretty cool is we have a lot of girls that are coming in now from Europe and competing. So there's some girls here that I'm not super familiar with. I went and looked up everybody's names. So I pulled anybody that's had a top 5 in the Pro League to take a look at their photos. So we've got some clear people that are standouts that we definitely want to be looking at. But then there's a few other ones probably that nobody is real familiar with. And then of course we have people that are coming in, like I said, we got Spain, we got Portugal, we got Germany, Russia, Brazil, all these countries that we don't really have a whole lot of data from these girls, right? So it really could end up being somebody that comes in and just shocks us. Like Tatiana came in last year, redhead. And kind of shocked everybody being in that top 5 too. So let's take a look. The first name that I pulled up obviously is Ari. So Ariana, she is qualified for the Olympia already. She qualified at, what was it? Atlantic Coast. So she won the Atlantic Coast, which was it was last year, but it was after the cutoff for the qualifying was after that. So she is qualified for this year. She did do Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, she was just too soft. Again, she's beautiful, has a gorgeous look, gorgeous frame, all those kinds of things. Like absolutely huge potential to be in the potential top, I think top 5 even at the Olympia. But the issue at Pittsburgh, she came in 11th in Pittsburgh. She did place top 10 at the Olympia this past year. She came in 11th at Pittsburgh because she just wasn't in shape. To me, it looked like she needed another month maybe to be really stage lean. So, it's unfortunate. She still placed well. She still placed 11th, which in that lineup was ridiculous because I think there was like 14 Olympians in that lineup or something like that. So if you placed at all in Pittsburgh, you were doing good. But it just wasn't her normal conditioning. So I do expect her to come into Tampa on point. I expect her to come in saying, hey, that was just a fluke. I'm going to come back with a even better package. So I would absolutely be looking out for her. And I do think she's going to be a potential winner in this particular show. As long as her conditioning is on point, she's definitely in the talk for winning the show. Next one we have is Rihanna. So clearly she's going to be somebody that we're going to be talking about as far as potential winner for the show too, because she's just won her last 2 shows. She has been to the Olympia in the past as well. But she's done 2 shows this year and she's won both of them and pretty handedly won both of them too. So this is a beautiful look. I don't think I would change a whole lot with what she did at Chicago. I think that her Chicago look was like spot on. So I don't think I would change a whole lot here going into Tampa. I would just repeat that. I want to be clear here. I do like the purple on her. I'm just partial personally to the red. I think she's probably going to wear the purple again this weekend. I don't really know. But that's just me. Again, I don't think either color is bad. I just particularly like the red on her specifically. That's just my own personal preference. So I'll be curious to see if she changes anything at all going into Tampa. Again, I feel like the look that she brought to Chicago was pretty much perfect. I think her Orlando look that she also won was a little bit full. They told her to come in a little bit tighter. She did in Chicago. I think Chicago was spot on. So I'm curious to see what she's going to look like coming into this, but she's definitely, again, going to be in the talk for the win here for sure. I also did pull up Sarah. So Sarah placed top 5 at Vancouver. She placed 5th. We did talk about her when we wrapped up this show. So I'm going to showcase her real quickly. The biggest thing with her was just muscularity-wise, I believe. Let me pull her up. Yeah, muscularity-wise, she's a little bit big, like a little bit dense, that kind of thing, which we tend to see when we're looking at Canadian and European competitors. She's just a little bit over the top with that. So I do think she's going to have a hard time breaking into the top 5 here at this show. I don't think it's going to be quite so easy for her. I do think she's going to be a little bit too hard. But we'll see. I did want to at least highlight her because she did place top 5 at Vancouver, but Vancouver was also a very small show, so you have to take that into account as well. But again, has placed top 5, so I didn't want to leave her out either. And of course, Issa. So, she's been a Miss Olympia in the past. She's been refining her look a lot the last year. She's been bringing in some of her best looks this past year, this past season. So because she's a Miss Olympia, she is already qualified for the Olympia. So just so you know, the qualification has changed on that. It's no longer a lifetime qualification automatically. If you won the Olympia more than 5 years ago, you do have to ask for an invite. They're not going to deny you. They're not going to deny you, obviously. So she's automatically qualified, basically. But just so you know, it's no longer an automatic qualification just because you won an Olympia title. You do have to actually ask for a special invite if you won it more than 5 years ago. Okay, so I think Issa is definitely going to be one of your front runners for sure. And like I just said, we've got 3 girls now that could potentially come in and win this. If somebody does beat Issa at this particular show, it's going to bode very, very well for them going into the Olympia because, of course, she's a past Miss Olympia, and she's also been perennial first call out in top 5. So if somebody does come in and take this title from her, we got to watch out for that person going into the Olympia for sure. So we haven't seen Issa on stage in a while. She did have an issue with her, appendicitis, I believe it was. So she ended up being out for a while. So it's been a little bit. So I'm curious to see what she looks like when she actually gets on that stage. She may be better. She may be worse. We'll see. And then I also did bring up Alice because Alice just won Patriots. Now, this was her first pro win. It was her first pro show back after about a year and a half off, but she came in and she won against Ashley Kaltwasser. So anybody that can beat Ashley is a threat. Just bottom line is a threat. So this is going to be a good test for Alice. It's going to be a good test to see how she stands up next to Issa, Ariana, Rihanna, all of them. I think that Rihanna is potentially a top 10 competitor at the Olympia this year. Ariana already has been. Again, we just talked about Issa already. So I do think that whatever she does here in Tampa is going to reflect towards what she could potentially do at the Olympia. So again, this show has a lot of implications in place for these girls, a lot. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see somebody new qualify. I think it's going to be one of these girls. But I do think whatever happens here, whoever ends up taking home the win, it's going to be huge for them going into the Olympia. I don't know. I don't know if I pulled this person up or this was the last person I was looking at, I believe. Yeah, this was just the last name that I pulled up. So that was not one to look at. So was there anybody here in this list that I missed? Did I miss anybody? I mean, again, I think it's going to be very, very hard for the judges. Now, Tyler is head judging. So is I'm sorry. This is wellness. Hold on. This is bikini. There you go. Tyler's head judging. So is Steve. Steve has a tendency to go a little bit more muscular, but Tyler is also head judge. So I don't think that's going to be too much of a weight for Steve going that direction. So yeah, I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. If we're looking at numbers wise, your favorite going into it would be Issa, but she's not unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. And all of these girls, again, Rihanna's coming off of 2 wins. Alice is coming off of a win, so this is going to be big for one of these girls, yeah, it could be. And if somebody comes in and just blows everybody else away, that would be enormously huge. Again, that happened last year with Ariana coming in. She didn't win. She didn't beat why was I going to say Alice? It's not Alice. Why? Oh my gosh. Ashlyn. Thank you. Oh my goodness. She didn't beat Ashlyn, but the fact that she stood next to her and took second was huge for Ariana, right? So this is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big deal for whoever wins this. It's going to be a big deal because I believe that whoever does win this is going to be a potential top 5 placer at the Olympia. I really do, because we've already got top 10 Olympia placers in here, in the mix already. So I do think it's going to be big. It's going to be big for whoever wins this. Big, big, big. So with that, let's move over to wellness. So with wellness, again, the category, this particular show is big. Like, the wellness shows have been getting pretty deep recently. So I did pull up a bunch of the girls. We haven't talked about them much this year. So as I go through these names, if you guys want to say anything about them, go for it, because I'll be the first one to admit to you that I haven't kept up with wellness as much this year as I have in years past, just because we haven't been reviewing them on the review. Right? So we're going to go through the names that I pulled for, oh good, Devin's on here. So Devin, you can lend your 2 cents on here as we go through these names, because I pulled up a bunch of them that already have top 5 placings, that have wins, that kind of thing too. So first one is Casey. I think a lot of us are familiar with Casey. Casey is a previous Olympian. She did place top 5 at the Masters Olympia. I don't believe she's been on stage at all this year. So I'm curious to see how she looks coming into this show. I'm assuming she's also doing the Masters. I didn't look at the Masters list, but I'm assuming she's also doing the Masters. She has done Tampa in the past. She has won Tampa Masters in the past. So again, I'm curious to see what she looks like. She is a taller wellness competitor, and her frame is good, but it doesn't typically. She did Atlanta. She's not on here for Atlanta. Are you sure? Is she? Oh no, you're right. Okay. Did she do open though? She didn't do open? No, this is 2023. This is 2023. Why is there nothing on here for 2024? Maybe they spelled her name different. I'll take a look. I know I pulled somebody else up here for Atlanta. I'll take a look at Atlanta in a minute. So they must have spelled their name wrong. Anyway, so top 5. Okay, let me see. Where did I have? So this is Atlanta here. Let me go and just click back. Here she is. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So here she is in Atlanta. Okay. We're not going to really go through all the photos here, but let me give a recent photo at least. Here we go. Here she is right here. Looks like she probably needed to be a little bit better conditioned, just from what I can see from the front shot. Not a huge fan of this green color on her. I think the blue was better. But we'll see what she looks like going into the show. Again, she's won the Masters before. She's been to the Olympia before, so she's definitely one to be paying attention to for sure. Okay. Got it. That makes sense. Now that makes sense why she didn't pop up if she's using her maiden name. Cool. All right. Let's click that back so I don't miss her. All right. So look at Casey. Then we have Cassandra. So Cassandra is another one. She has not been on stage in a while, you guys. She has won the Arnold in the past. She competed quite a bit last year, but she hasn't competed this year at all. I don't think she's even qualified for the Olympia. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think she's qualified this year yet. Again, top 5 placer at the Olympia, or 6. Did she take the top 5? I don't think she took 5th. No, she did 4th. So she was 6th this 2023, 4th in 2022, 11th the year before that. So she she has been rising kind of. She hasn't been on stage in a while. From what I've seen as far as previews are concerned, she looks pretty good. So I'm curious to see what she looks like this year. It is kind of crazy to me that some of these girls are just now coming out to start their run towards the Olympia, because we are so late in the season. There's 6 weeks left or something like that, not even. But she's definitely one to be paying attention to for sure. She has won the Arnold, like I said in the past. Melitza, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, is another one. She placed 3rd at Atlanta. If I remember correctly, I think when I was looking through photos, she was one where I hated her suit, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she is one where I did not like her suit at all. But with that said, let's take a look real quick. So, really good on the conditioning. You can see she's her waistline's tight, that kind of thing. So overall good look here and everything too, but I hate that suit. Oh my goodness, I hate that suit. Anyway, sorry. Have I said it enough? I hate that suit. It's the pie plates. It's just the pink stones on the black. It's just too much. It's too much. There's still a bunch of bikini girls. Yeah, there's a lot of girls that are not qualified. A lot of girls that are not qualified across the board. And like I said, they're just now starting to get on stage, which is crazy. They're just leaving it up to the last few shows, just hoping that they hit it. And there's going to be some girls, I think, that are going to be left out, Okay, so she just did a full turn. All right. Anyway, so she placed top 5 at Atlanta. So she's going to watch. And then we have Gracia. Sorry, these names are really hard to pronounce because they're all foreign. So, but again, she was top 2 at Republic of Texas. So she's definitely one to be paying attention to here. Let's see. I guess we could use those front shots, but she's not in the box. Let's use one where she's in the box right here. There we go. So beautiful frame and look and everything too. She's on a shorter side as far as the competitors are concerned. So she's a little bit small, but most of them are. We talked about this a little bit when we were looking at the national shows. Class A for wellness in any one of these national shows is absolutely ridiculous. But this was a girl, and it was funny because we were talking about this too. Speaking of suits, you guys, this suit was terrible. Does not fit at all. If your suit looks like this, you guys, you need a new suit. This is was bad. So I did want to show this just because of this factor. Like this is, I don't know what happened here, but there's like no stretch to the elastic or something. I don't really know. She looks phenomenal. Like her whole look is great. You know what I mean? But it's so distracting that I'm looking at her suit right now. So hopefully she has a new suit for Tampa. Let's just hope that she has a new suit for Tampa, because I think her back shot's phenomenal. I really do. I think her front shot's great too, but the suit's so distracting. So distracting. Don't let your suits do that, you guys. But anyway, she's one to be paying attention to as well. And then we have Marcella, who is not qualified for this year, but she was for last year, so you can see that. So I don't think she's competed here in the States yet, other than Olympia. So she'll be one to be paying attention to for sure. It's hard to look at some of these photos from, Brazil and things like that, because they don't have a whole lot of pictures to be looking at. From what I can see, as far as the few pictures that they do have here, she needs more leg development. From the back, I mean, she's got more quad than a bikini competitor, clearly, but she clearly needs more, right? So it's just glutes are good, needs more legs. So this was last year though, so who knows? Maybe she's grown enough so that this year she'll be competitive. So she's won a show before, so pay attention to her for sure. And then we have Juliana, who just won Mr. Big Man, so she is qualified for this year. I'm really hoping some of these European and Brazilian girls tone their posing down, because you can clearly see it just from the way that she's kind of moving through some of her poses, that her arms are all over the place. But again, really nice shape, really nice frame. Probably needs to be a touch more conditioned, but we'll see that, when she gets to the States here, and see if that. I remember these pictures though, because this is the one that that Evie won in bikini, and these pictures were pretty washed out. So it could just be the lighting too. So, did she switch to a different suit bottom? Good. Yeah, I'm sure she had to have been told backstage. I can't believe nobody told her to change her suit bottoms prior to her going on for prejudging, because oh my Lord. Woof. But anyway, again, going back to the big man, I believe if I'm not mistaken, I believe this show all the photos were a little bit washed out. So that doesn't surprise me actually. So she may look a lot better than what we're actually seeing here in these pictures. So let's go to our next one, which is Yami. So let me pull this one up. Sorry. Screen share. There we go. So she just placed third in Chicago. On the flip side, the Chicago photos were phenomenal. I love the Chicago photos. Let's see if I can get a good front shot here where she's actually in her front pose. She's moving through most of the stuff. She did her quarter turns. Let's see. Nope. Here we go. This is a decent front pose. So I would say she needs more legs, right? Lot of shoulder and delts, pretty thick through the waistline. I'd say just from looking at this alone, she needs some more quads, right? So still placed top 5, so we're going to include her here, but I think she's going to have a struggle here in this particular show, but we'll see. Who knows? But she's definitely one to be paying attention to for sure. And then last but not least, we have Samara. She won Toronto. Was that in Masters though? So it looks like this might have been open. Let's see. Yes, that's what I thought. So she won Toronto, but in Masters, and then she placed top 5 in the Open. Okay. Because Alexis won the Open class. So yeah, I mean, in general, nice shape and everything like that, but I think she's probably gonna get outsized. She's got a pretty look. Pretty overall shape and everything too, but just to me, she just looks like she's going to be a little small. But again, place top 5, so we're going to include her here, and who knows, she may compare well. Just a matter of getting in front of the judges, and in front of those girls, and next to those girls, and just seeing where she lands. But if I was a betting woman, who you got winning this one? I even lost track of the names, but who did I have that was second in Texas? Somebody help me out. Who was the girl that placed second in Texas? I think she's going to win. Lisa. Did I miss her? Or was that the girl from Texas? Somebody help me out here. That's why. This has happened before. How do you spell her name? Because I've tried to put her in here, and she doesn't show up. Yeah, I looked her up, but because I know as soon as you said that name, I was like, I think I pulled her up, and she didn't show up. That's exactly what it is. She doesn't show up in NBC News. So, do they spell her name wrong? Do you know how to spell her name? I knew I recognized it because I've done that before this year. I looked her up before, and I just can't remember. I can't remember what her actual name ended up being because I know we looked for her the last time too. Anybody? Anybody got it? Bueller? I don't know. However you spell her name. That's how it's spelled. I'm like doing a triple take. That's how they spelled it. Yeah, that's how it's spelled. And it's not coming up here on NBC News. Here. Is that her? I don't want to pull up the wrong girl. Is this her? Yeah. Okay. You guys see her? Yes. I remember because we were talking about this, the Fit Parade or whatever show this was. That was the Fit Parade, right? We were talking about this one, and I couldn't find her because they spelled me wrong. So this is it right here. So yes, no, she's absolutely somebody that I could see in the top 2 for sure. Okay, that just changed my mind. Thank you, Devin. That just changed my mind. See, this is why you look people up. She's got a great package. She's got a great look. She could absolutely be in the top for sure. Yep, for sure. All right. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Gotcha. Okay. They got to get her name right on NBC News, apparently, so that we can look her up. It's like, I knew, like, as soon as I put her name in, I was like, there's something familiar about this, and I can't figure out what it is. Sure enough, there you go. So, all right. So there's your wellness. So go ahead and type into the comments here. Tell me who you got for wellness. Tell me who you got for bikini too. Who you got? Type it in. And while you're doing that, I'm going to end out here on Instagram and leave it up on YouTube for a minute. Nobody wants to give a prediction. Like, nobody's giving predictions on any of these. Come on, guys. I know we're behind. I know. Whenever we do the Instagram comments are always a little bit behind. Well, guys, while I'm waiting, we got Issa Issa winning with Rihanna in second. I could see that. I could see that. Stop sharing. I'll pull up our QR codes real quick while we're waiting to see if anybody else wants to put in their 2 cents. So our channel sponsors with Prozis and our channel sponsors with Liquid Sun Rayz. So I personally think that on paper, Issa should win it. If she doesn't, it's going to be a big deal for whoever does win it. Whoever does win it, it's going to be a big deal. So this is going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a fun show to watch. So I will be paying attention. I'll be on vacation for a couple of days, but I will also be paying attention. So let's see. Let's see how it all plays out. Yeah, Rihanna could win. I think any one of those girls that we mentioned could be in that top spot. I really do. It's just a matter of who shows up best that day. It's a matter of who shows up best that day, for sure. For sure. All right, you guys, with that, happy rest of your week. Let's see what happens in Tampa, and then we'll wrap it up when we get back.